You're listening to the ADHD and Me podcast. I'm Joe.
And I'm Jen, and we're so excited to share the strategies we've learned while navigating life as neurodivergents.
Each week, we'll discuss topics such as relationships, careers, mental health, and a lot more.
You'll get two unique perspectives on life's challenges, successes, and everything in between.
So without further ado, here's this week's episode. Welcome back to the ADHD and Me podcast. My name's Joe.
And I'm Jen.
We got a special one for you today because we reached a bit of a personal milestone just this week, March 26th. We hit our 20-year anniversary from the day I asked Jen out. And we've been going through some old stuff that we've had in storage. We've been just thinking about some amazing, funny stories that have happened throughout these last 20 years. And we just figured it would be cool to just share some of this stuff with you. And we got a special thing to start this off with.
Yes.
What I hold in my hand is a relic. This is a printed out piece of paper from 20 years ago, specifically March 4th, 2004.
At 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard.
I guess that's when I printed it or when we typed it, but this was the first time that me and Jen spoke over AOL Instant Messenger.
Can you please tell them what your AOL screen name
Yeah, let's talk about screen names. So AOL, I mean, I think most people listening to this podcast know what AOL Instant Messenger is, so we won't go into that, but you had to have a screen name, basically a username.
Mm-hmm.
And mine was JC8HG. And what was yours, Jennifer?
Lil, LILMIZZ, Ms. Trendy 17.
Little Miss Trendy 17. Okay, just a quick aside about what my screen name is. JC, that's self-explanatory. Joe Coyote. 8, that was the year
You made it, right?
the screen name. I actually originally had JC7HG, but fun story.
Oh my gosh.
A classmate of mine put my name on the internet. I helped them, write a story or something.
What?
It was, and my mom freaked out because she thought that having your name on the internet meant you were gonna die. This was in the 90s. She thought we were gonna get stalked. So she called AOL. I'm crying, and we had to change the whole
7?
screen name. Yeah, 7 is when I had my first screen name. But then of course I had to change it 8. But here's what the HG stands for. Homie G. I was a big Homie G back then. I was
So cute.
Yeah. And you were not 17. When I messaged you, you were 15.
17 is my favorite number.
There you go. And she's Little Ms. Trendy.
Ms.
So we thought we would kind of recite this as a play. Just the first few lines of this message. I mean,
really cringe. I'm so nervous.
It's so funny. So
It's so bad.
without further ado,
I'm regretting it.
we are going to recite our first AIM interaction from over 20 years ago. Jen, you begin.
Oh, I was the first person? I was thirsty.
That's what it says.
I thought you were the first person.
So go ahead.
Okay. Hey.
And I said, hey, who's this? Now, let me pause right here. ...
Who's this?
Yeah. I'm playing this cool. I know who it is.
How do you know if we've never...
I already got the heads up. And I knew what the screen name is, but I'm trying to play it Joe cool. So I go, hey, who's this? And then you say,
Oh, yes, sorry. It's Jen. What's up?
I go, hey, what's up? Nothing much. Classic AIM. Hey, what's up? Nothing much. ... Just got back from music practice. You?
You really liked dots.
Yeah, I was
I
was big into the ellipses.
Ellipses?
Yes, go ahead.
Nothing much, just bored and downloading stuff.
We should explain what that is. This is a time where we were illegally downloading things constantly.
And I'm an elder emo, and I downloaded a lot of...
You're bored and downloading stuff. I love it.
Bored and downloading stuff.
I go, LOL. You go,
how was music practice?
Oh, gosh. I'm not proud of this next sentence, but I said, this is 15-year-old... or I don't even know how old I was, but this is 20 years old. This is 15-year-old Joe, teenager. I go, it was interesting.
You have to tell the ... because it gives the dramatic.
It was ... interesting ... Half the people in the choir sing crazy off key. Oh, BRB, I go. 2 minutes later.
Back.
But I accidentally put an L after back, so I corrected it.
Where did you go in those 2 minutes?
I don't know.
No, wait. I want to know what you did in those 2 minutes immediately.
I probably had to pee really badly. That, or my parents called me and they were like, Joseph. And then I was like, Mom, don't pick up the phone right now. We're on a landline. And if you pick up the phone.
I repeat, we are on a landline. Okay. Hey, your IM noise is scary. Every time you IM me, it makes a freaky noise. And
all right,
can you just describe what it sounded like?
In AOL Instant Messenger, when you hit enter to enter your message,
like a custom sound.
You can have a custom sound, but every time. So the default was like, but you can now have different song clips, anything, different movie clips. So
John Mayer.
Jen had I forget which one. What, do you remember? Oh, yeah. It was like, the beginning of Neon. And mine was Master!
But
from Master of Puppets by Metallica.
When I tell you, every time he texted me...
Your computer speakers must have been on blast.
And plus, I didn't know at the time, but I have, an auditory sensitive thing. So it was just like, Master! Master! And I'm like, ah!
So, me trying not to ruin this.
You should have been yourself and just said what it was.
Yeah, but,
I was not a judgmental person.
I've made 20 years of growth. Okay?
That's true.
So, I smoothly go, oh, isn't it LP? Meaning Linkin Park. Because I previously had Linkin Park on there before I changed it to Master of Puppets, but I was really in my rock phase. I go, let me check. Then you go, LOL.
LOL.
And I go, oh, I didn't change. I thought I did. I'll change it to my normal sound.
Starting out with deception already. And I put, LOL, alrighty, you do that.
This goes on that was just the first half of the page. Yeah, this goes on here.
Do the whole
and it has another one. But can I just say, I'm so happy that I kept this. I'm so glad you
printed it. Because we've had so many good conversations. I wish I printed every IM conversation. I've had so many good conversations.
I've said this to many people, and I will say it again. I would pay an absurd amount of money to get the archives of my AOL Instant Messenger. If that was, from what I understand, it's not possible, and I think it's gone. So we hope you enjoyed this replay of our first instant message interaction over 20 years ago. Oh no, there goes the whole thing.
Now.
So me and Jen have sat down and we thought about a couple of funny different stories from throughout our entire 20 years together.
Yeah.
And we thought some of these were really funny to share.
Yeah.
So what do you want to start with?
How about our first ever date?
Okay.
At the mall.
At the mall. So this, you're 15. You can't drive yet. Your parents have to drive you anywhere. Really, the only two date spots back in the day were the mall,
movies,
or the movies, right?
Or you could do mini golf, I guess.
Yeah, but for a first date, yeah. So little did I know at the time, Jen and her mom were frequent flyers in the mall. So frequent flyers in the mall. So no wonder they picked it. But basically, we were gonna meet at the mall. And
meet me at the mall. It's going down.
But here's the thing. Here's what consisted of the date. You walked around and you window shopped.
All we did was walk around.
You didn't even go to the food court.
But that's what you did with your friends too.
That's what you did. So we had it all planned out. Probably one weekend. I would get dropped off by my mom. Jen would get dropped off by her mom. And then we would go. So that happens. That goes as planned.
You used to wear cologne back then.
Oh,
and it was strong. I
probably overdid it.
He smelled like I don't even know, like a mafia boss in the Italian mob.
So do you want to continue the story?
So he held my hand for the first time, and
I felt tingles and jingles.
Yes,
Let me just say that right now.
I was like, ooh, he is holding my hand. And then we're walking. All of a sudden, I feel a thrust of him like chucking my hand away, like as if I have like some type of leprosy disease. And I'm like looking at him, I'm like, what the heck? What's going on? And I look straight ahead and it's my mom.
So here's what happened. I again, I didn't know that her mom was a frequent flyer of the mall. So
It's just a handhold.
But you gotta understand, first date ever. Okay. My mom drops me off and leaves. When I see Jen, I assume, oh, Jen's mom's going to leave. I didn't know that she was taking a lap. So by the time we start holding hands, I see Jen's mom.
Hold hands at church.
I know. I see Jen's mom and I panicked because I felt like I was caught in the act of something way worse. And I cast aside her hand.
I was practically chucked into the nearest American Eagle.
Yeah.
So that was funny.
So needless to say, that was a funny moment we would never forget. We do have one more mall story. This was probably a future date. It wasn't the first date. And we haven't had our first kiss yet.
Oh.
You know what mall story I'm talking about.
Oh, God. I'm trying to block that one out because it's very embarrassing for me.
But I didn't know. I wanted to. I thought it was time, right, for us to have our first kiss. But
in H&M.
In H&M, just felt right, you know.
In the button down.
Right in the racks.
Right in the
racks.
Right in the racks.
No, it just was a moment. But the thing is like, again, never kissed a girl. So I had no confidence. I wasn't sure the right moves.
You acted like you did when he pretended like he was going to kiss me.
So we're at the H&M and we're having this moment where I guess we hugged.
Mortified.
And so I decide in my head, I think I'm going in for the kiss.
Yeah.
And I start to go in for it and she starts to go in for it.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, this is happening.
All of a sudden,
my face hits
chicken out.
My face hits his shoulder.
I chicken out
like,
and last minute go in for the hug.
Oh God. And in my head, I'm like, I am an absolute loser.
And in my head, I'm like, why did I do that? I'm an absolute loser.
I wrote about that in my diary.
Yeah.
It's like, he doesn't like me.
Meanwhile, I just didn't know what I was doing. So another one, skipping around, is me and Jen started going to concerts. So I took Jen to her first concert, which was Taking Back Sunday. And Jimmy Eat World. They were together.
And Jimmy Eat World.
Now
Stony Brook.
Yeah, so we had a funny mosh pit story. Now, was it this concert or was it another one? Actually, it was at this concert.
It was this one.
It was this one where we were able to get to the front by the stage.
General admission, right in the front.
But the openers were going on and everyone was kind of chill. So we were like, oh, this is nice. This is really good.
Yeah, I was like, I like concerts.
And then we had this woman who was like in her 50s and she was like, I've been to so many concerts. She's like, you got to keep your elbows out.
Keep your elbows out and hold your stance.
Keep them pointing. Make sure that people aren't bumping into you.
I'm like a nervous Nelly with asthma. I'm like,
So the openers come and they play and it's chill. So we thought we're good. So all of a sudden, Taking Back Sunday, I believe, comes on. And they were co-headlining with Jimmy Eat World. Mm-hmm. And then this rush of people just start
pushing forward.
And we're like, what did we do?
It felt like I was going to be crushed.
Yeah, like Jen's got asthma. She felt like we crushed to death.
It was hot.
It was sweltering.
There's bodies everywhere just like having their moisture against me.
And then I had to somehow flag one of the security guys up front
to save me from
and then we had to be lifted out individually. He had to carry Jen out and then he had to carry me out and I'm just being like carried out over the barrier and then they brought us to a side seat. And we were like, well, I guess we're not as cool as we thought. And we finished the concert in the bleachers.
I don't think we were ever able to like go to a concert and stay in.
It depends on the band. It depended on the place. But I thought that was a funny one.
For our next story, this one is a little bit intimate.
Oh, it's not that intimate.
Oh, well, if you thought hand holding was intimate, this is
that's
intimate.
True, yeah.
Anyway, so as young ones do, you know, they make out, right? There's kissing happening, and he had a thing with his nose. You want to tell the
So, all right, it was very funny. We were kissing, and during the makeout sesh, I got a nosebleed. Now, I would get like random nosebleeds from time to time.
I knew this was a thing that he would struggle with nosebleeds.
But like it started happening and I didn't realize, and then all of a sudden like I opened my eyes and I think Jen said that like I had a look of
horror on his face. He's like and then he's like,
her face was filled with blood.
He's like, don't be alarmed. He's like, but go to the bathroom. I think I had a nosebleed. And then I go in the bathroom.
I really don't know how.
You ever see the movie Carrie? Where they like pour the bucket of blood at her? I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God. Mortified. Another human being's blood on my face. I was like, ugh.
I couldn't
look at him for the rest.
Yeah, how did you even stay with me after that? That was crazy.
Honestly, yeah, that was a very traumatizing event for both parties. Imagine I have blood all over your face with my nose.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
Like it just comes, and not only just blood, but like it probably had snot.
Yeah. Well, let's switch over to something more embarrassing from your side. So,
yeah,
why don't we tell people about your 21st birthday?
Yeah, my 21st birthday was interesting. I was a very gullible, Joe calls me gullible Gabriella.
Gullible Gabriella.
And so we went to a place in Patchogue, and it was called Brick House.
Yeah, Brick House Brewery.
Brick House Brewery. It's my first time having, like, I guess, and it wasn't the first time having alcohol, but it was like the first time where I was able to like have a full like cup or something. And my friends ordered me things and told me that it was something else. So they were like, oh, this is the butterscotch drink that you wanted. It was like a shot of butterscotch. I forgot what the name was.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, I like butterscotch. That's my favorite Werther's candies, butterscotch. And so I drink it. I'm like, oh, this butterscotch tastes terrible. It wasn't butterscotch, okay? It was tequila 1800, okay? And there was a whole shot of that. And then they kept giving me different flavors and kept saying, oh, this is a lemon drop. This is a butterscotch. And I was like, oh, I'm gullible. And I kept drinking them. And every single time, it was the same thing. It was the tequila 1800. And then me being the idiot that I am, I was like, you know what? Let me get this taste out of my mouth with like a cranberry vodka.
You've got a good memory.
Well, the reason why I remember the vodka cranberry is that was the last drink I had. And so wait, Joe drags me out of the brewery and I'm sitting in the car and I'm like, you're going too fast. And he's like, I haven't pulled out yet. And I'm like, oh. And then he brings me into the house. As soon as I get into the house, I'm like, projectile.
Yeah. She projectiles.
All
you know it. She projectiles.
But it's red. So it looks like a horror scene.
So now that the demons have been expelled, I think, all right, let's just get her to bed.
Yeah.
So I go upstairs and I make her a bed.
So sweet.
And I come back down while she's in the bathroom let me go get her some bread and get some Advil. So I get that. So then
I went out of the bathroom. I sat on your kitchen aisle stool and you handed me the bread. I ate it and then I vomited on my bag and on my body.
Very nice.
And then I'm like, I don't think I'm going to make it upstairs.
So I proceed to take all the stuff I made up and I go on the couch downstairs and I make a bed on the couch, which is not that far away. But then she can't even get there.
I ran to the bathroom.
She ran to the bathroom so then all of a sudden
collapsed on the ground.
She's collapsed on the ground in the bathroom, and
wait, I had an owl necklace. Remember, I was scraping against the tile.
Oh my! So
I couldn't get up.
At that point, she can't even make it to the couch. So, just across from the bathroom was my family's Christmas tree, and Jen crawled over to the Christmas tree.
The furthest I could go.
I just threw a blanket on her, and that was really the end of that.
And I woke up that morning just with ornaments, just
askew,
caressing my cheek. Never doing that again.
So me and Jen are in Queens, and we typically would walk to the subway together for work if we had the same shift. And it was a short walk from our apartment to the subway. And we had a dachshund at the time named Amber, and we loved dachshunds. And
obsessed with dachshunds.
We're walking down this sidewalk, and Jen spots a woman holding a cream-colored English cream-colored dachshund, her favorite dream dachshund. So she points it out to me. She goes, "Joe, she's holding a cream-colored dachshund. Go! I gotta see it." So I'm like, "No way!" So we start running. I start bolting.
I'm like so excited.
I run 10 feet or so ahead of us, and to my surprise, this woman is not holding a dachshund. She just has a scarf on. I don't think Jen had her glasses on at the time. I think that was the primary. So then I literally almost hit the dirty streets of the city floor because Jen was like, "Why did you stop?" I'm like, "Jen, she's wearing a scarf."
The look on her face of these two people chasing
She probably
her
thought she probably thought it was going to mug her.
And like we're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm mortified." And Joe had in Queens an obsession with squirrels.
Oh, let me tell you about these squirrels.
I don't understand.
The reason I had an obsession with these squirrels is because, growing up in the suburbs and not the city, squirrels were very like skittish.
Antisocial?
Yeah, antisocial, skittish. So the squirrels in Queens, though, they had some New York toughness to them. They growled at you.
Come at me, bro.
They ran up to you. They would pose in some really like aggressive
ready to
states.
chuck acorns at you.
And what I loved about them is that they wouldn't like be scared of you. So, this was like the first few years of having an iPhone. I just, every time I was walking the dog or walking around, I would see squirrels and I would literally come right up to them and take their picture. And I swear it
was like Pokemon Snap.
You would
just like, squirrel.
You would think that like, I was a father of a newborn at the time because I had a camera roll filled with so many squirrel shots, and I had them. They were very like, I had them edited with filters. Like they
were edited.
It was really funny.
There was actually one Instagram post. If you are friends with him on Instagram, go to his first post.
It's not my first, but
it is a picture. It's like a hipstamatic, like edited picture of a rusty lock, and
with the best caption.
The caption says "Rusty lock."
Rusty lock. It's my proudest moment. If I'm being honest with you, it's my proudest moment. The Instagram post of a rusty lock in the subway.
It was pure art,
and then calling it out, "Rusty lock." So we have two funny honeymoon stories. So we had our honeymoon on a cruise. And that cruise ported out of Puerto Rico, and then it went to a bunch of different places.
Yeah.
So first of all, on the cruise, we became like known because we went to karaoke every night.
Day.
There was a karaoke, and we were the only
young people
like remotely young there.
Yeah.
It was us and then 50-year-olds and up,
which was great.
We had we were able to sing so many times. So much so that the cruise had a karaoke contest and the winners got to sing on stage, and I was able to win the male contest, and I sang on stage for like 2,000 people or whoever.
I joined the competition. I didn't win either.
I think it was rigged. I think it was rigged.
No one tried out for your role.
Is that
James,
it?
Was it James Brown?
Oh yeah. All I know is that
Gloria Estefan.
Yeah, it was really funny, but I think the real funny story about the honeymoon was it ported at this beach. It was beautiful. The water was clear. It was a sunny day out. We were having a great time.
We paid for an excursion.
But there's like tourists. They know it's a tourist area, so there's locals there trying to like make some money. So this guy comes up to me and he's selling basically like palm tree leaves that he made into like a figure.
It was like made into like a grasshopper, and I was like, "Oh, nice."
Oh yeah, and she wasn't there, but basically I handed it to her and I'm like, "Hey, I got this for you," and then later on you were like,
I was like, "Well, where'd you get it?" I don't know if you said like how much it was or or if I was like, how much is it? And you said that you gave him what?
It was like $5 or $10.
Like almost like $10
for something that
for a grasshopper grass.
He picked it off of a tree, and we were dying
because he thought he like Joe really like splurged on me on this piece of grass.
Jen's like,
and he's like, look what I've provided for you, my wife.
Jen's like, you could have picked that off the tree and made it yourself.
I know. So in case you guys don't know this, me and Joe are very much Disney adults.
Yes,
we
that is true.
We go to Disney World, Disneyland, anything Disney, we're there. And one of our favorite rides in Disney is Soarin' in Epcot, which is basically you go on this like hand glider. Is that what it's called? Hand glider?
Yeah, it's like a hang glider, and
like,
they launch you into this big screen. It feels like you're flying across all these different landscapes.
Yeah.
And this was back before we had Harper.
Yes.
This was just a vacation with me and you and your mom, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And we went on Soarin'. And I think you could tell the rest.
And if you've been on Soarin' in Disney World in Florida, you know that when you get off the ride, there's a very long walk in a narrow hallway all the way back to leave the building. And when I tell you it's narrow, picture like hundreds of people walking in this narrow hallway. So we're all like gathered together. And all of a sudden, I smell the most rancid smell I've ever smelled in my entire life. Like, I had thought that there was a carcass somewhere. I don't even know. And I'm like, Joe, do you smell that? And he's like, yeah. He's like, oh my gosh. And
it's
so
terrible.
Like, he's like, it's so terrible. And then, like, for some reason, I was like, oh my gosh, it's getting stronger and stronger. And like,
there's people talking about it around us.
And someone behind me is like, I'm going to throw up. I can't. I'm going to throw up. And the children are crying. Like, everyone in this hallway is like, we're doomed because they can't escape. We can't go forward. We can't go backward. We're just stuck with this
The only way out is through.
And it was funny because the entire time I'm behind this man and I'm like, Joe, it's getting stronger.
Like, I know, it's like, so bad.
That's so weird. I wonder who would do such a thing. There's sick people in this world. Sick. and then I go back to the hotel. I'm in the bathroom. And
this is like this is like hours later.
Hours later at night in the hotel, and I hear a little toot 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 on my door. Doesn't even have the gall to say it to my face. He waits until I'm hidden behind a locked door in the bathroom because I'm going potty. And he's like, "Hey, I just have a confession to make." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "It was me." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I was the one that farted."
Listen. We were in this tiny narrow hallway.
Why would you do that?
It just
clench.
I couldn't. But the bottom line was I couldn't admit it to you in the tiny narrow hallway because there was everyone around us. And
yeah, but you're acting. You could have at least.
I had a really good. I could have gotten an Academy Award.
Walking behind you, and I was like, Joe, it's getting stronger. I'm nauseous, and you were just like, oh, weird. You should have walked instead of being in front of your wife. You should have helped me instead of acting along. Wonder why it's stronger in this area. Yeah. I don't know.
Not the proudest moment of my life.
But it's like something that we talk about
all the time
till this day because it was just the way he delivered it. It was like a Seinfeld episode. It was just so funny. So that was just a few of our stories.
We hope you enjoyed this. We thought this would be a cool episode just to kind of recount like 20 years worth of funny stories and interesting stuff and recite our AIM conversations. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode.
You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at ADHD and Me Podcast.
Our theme song is by @It's of Both.
New episodes every Wednesday.
We will see you there, or we will see you on another time.